Welcome back to another segment of the DLA in the News.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. The world of YouTube, the world of YouTube. The DLA guru is back in the building. Back in the building, yes, indeed. Yes, I am a little bit late getting on. My scheduled live stream was supposed to start promptly at 11 o'clock a.m. this morning, but Murphy's Law occurred to me this morning. I got in the office about 30 minutes prior to the live stream and hit to restart the computer, and some updates started to install into the computer. And so I didn't know that I had updates that needed to be installed. And it took literally 30 minutes for the updates to install it to the computer. So I don't know what's going on with Microsoft, but anyway, I'm here. So sorry for my tardiness this morning. I know a lot of folks were looking forward to talking to the DLA guru this morning. Yeah, I'm here to never and ever disappoint. So I got fantastic presentation for you guys today. As you know, today is my scheduled bi-monthly live stream for all of my Brigadier General and Patreon members that you guys can cam up and mic up with me over in StreamYard. And we can have a closed circuit 101 DLA training to talk anything and everything related to the DLA solicitations, national stock numbers, strategy, credit lines, teaming, partnerships, you name it, anything and everything related to government contracting, as well as Defense Logistics Agency contracting. So that is what today is all about. But before I dive into that, of course, I have a fantastic presentation for all of those in the public forum, for all of my subscribers, all the subscribers out there in the YouTube space. DLA Guru, I always have something good that I think is going to empower and inspire you for success with the DLA and to continue pushing forward. So we'll probably have about 20, 30 minutes or so of my presentation, and I open up the chat to allow any and all comments related to the DLA for you guys just to drop it in the chat. Drop that information in the chat, and I'll be able to field any and all answers or questions and provide answers that I think I can provide within reason for those of you who have questions. Let's see. We got before diving in, we have Artemis. Artemis says, "Hey, no DLA guru today." Yes, I'm here today, Artemis. I'm always a man of my word. If I tell you I'm going to be there, I'll be there. I may be a little late getting there, but I will be there. So, and if I can't be there, I'll make sure I make a post and let you guys know if I need to change my schedule for whatever reason, because, hey, life happens. But Artemis, hopefully you're in the building. Looks like we got 6 concurrent viewers in the building. Let's see, do we have any likes? Are you guys liking what the DLA guru is talking about today? Okay, I got 3 likes. 6 concurrent viewers, well, now 5 concurrent viewers in the building. Hopefully, Artemis, you are in the building. If you are, go ahead and let me know that you are there so I can say, hey, man, I'm here. I'm here. So, I don't want to disappoint any of my subscribers. But thanks again for waiting on the DLA guru to be available for you. I do have a fantastic presentation today. Fantastic. Today, as you guys can see in the title of this particular video, I wanted to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of being an entrepreneur. A lot of my content, in this past year or last week I said that I've been in the YouTube streets for 2 years. Actually, I was incorrect. It's been a little bit over, maybe like a year and a half or so, where I've kind of been in these YouTube streets, kicking out content related to the DLA. So I was a little bit premature in my anniversary in July here, but I will say that it's been a fantastic ride, but I wanted to pivot a bit with some of my content and talk a little bit more about entrepreneurism, and what it means to me and what it may mean to you, especially for those of you who are new to me, new to my content, and are thinking about cutting that umbilical cord to corporate America, or any types of jobs that you may have been holding that you really just don't like what you're doing anymore, but you just might be a little bit afraid of getting involved in the world of the free enterprise system, which I call entrepreneurship. And looks like we have a comment in the chat there. Oh, we got Brother James in the building. Give you a round of applause. Looks like he got a $29,000 award yesterday. He says, but what sucks is the price of the product changed, so I'm only going to make $1,000 off a $29,000 contract. Hey, hey, James, sometimes things happen. Murphy's Law, as you can see, as it would, well, actually put that comment up later. As you can see what happened to me getting started today. But hey, man, do not fret. Just stay vigilant. Work with your vendors. This is a great opportunity. Typically, whenever the prices change, maybe, the quote from your vendor expired. So you guys got to make sure that you're always on top of the quote validity date. So like if your vendors are telling you that's a 30, that, the quote's valid for 30 days and they can lock you in for 30 days. When you're bidding those contracts on DIBBS, you make sure you let the DLA know that, hey, my quote is only good for 29 days or whatever it may be, so that you can kind of protect your ability to go back to your vendors, and just to make sure that prices are locked in within that period, because if the DLA wants to award the contract after such date of which you tell the DLA the quote is valid for, then that gives you an opportunity to go out to your vendors, sharpen your pencils, cross your T's, dot your I's, to make sure that those prices are still valid. And if they have increased, then that gives you an opportunity to, increase your price with the DLA as well, especially if they're reaching out and asking traceability, or, hey, I love getting those emails where they say, hey, can you extend your quote, because we're looking to evaluate the quote now, and we want to make sure that your price is still valid. So hopefully that gives you a little insight, Brother James, on how you can handle that in the future. But before getting into any more questions, and hey, this load me up with questions, guys, because I'm here to answer any and all questions. I love the content. I love the interaction. I love, all of that that comes down in the chat there from all of my subscribers. And I'm here to answer those questions. So today's live stream, why you guys are here, why I have your eyes and your ears on today's topic, what nobody says about entrepreneurship, because it's an interesting world to be an entrepreneur. And as a matter of fact, I became 100% entrepreneur at the ripe old age of 34. That's when I decided to cut the umbilical cord from corporate America. And, I'm approaching that big bicentennial in August of this year. So, yeah, I've been kind of doing this 100% without any lifeline to that of corporate America for quite some time. And I've figured out a lot of things in my journey. And hopefully this channel, again, a little bit of a pivot. I wanted to kind of get more into that a little bit, to kind of give you guys a little insight on what it's like to be an entrepreneur. I'm not really into a lot of the vlogging and things like that as of yet. Maybe, depends on how this kind of takes place, or how you guys receive this type of content. I might do a little bit more vlogging into the actual life and times of the DLA guru, better known as Kiwi Hendricks. But hey, for those of you who are new to me, new to my content, have never ever seen or talked to me or seen any of my videos, hopefully I got some new folks in the watching the video today. Looks like we got 5 concurrent viewers. If you are new to my content, hey, drop me a note in the chat. Let me know your city and state that you're hailing from. But hey, my name is Kiwi Hendricks. I am the U.S. government sales manager with the National Material Supply Company. I have been working in federal contracting for the past 20 years, while burning the midnight oil, working in corporate America at the same exact time, and trying to figure out, did I really wanted to go full ham within the government contracting arena. And I made the decision at the ripe old age of 34. And that's when I decided to cut my ties to corporate America, and I joined the 8A program, because as you guys know, to be an 8A vendor, to be accepted into the 8A program, which is a 9-year business development program, that's managed by the Small Business Administration, you have to be a 100% fully self-employed. You cannot have a W-2 working for another company in order to qualify to be in the 8A program. So that's when I decided to take that plunge and get involved 100% into government contracting. And it's been, again, a great journey. So I have coined the name the DLA Guru because one of my biggest customers within my journey within government contracting has been the Defense Logistics Agency. So for those of you who have never heard of the DLA, they are, well, one, take a look at my catalog. I got over 200 videos in the catalog that'll tell you everything you need to know about the DLA. But for those of you who may be new to this is your first time experiencing me here in these YouTube streets, the DLA is the largest procurement arm for the U.S. military, and they procure all types of products in support of the warfighter. And they spend about $50 billion a year in buying products and services to support that of the U.S. military. And they are just a fantastic customer to get involved with to figure out your lane. As you can see, we had Brother James in the building that gave us a little bit of an insight on one of his contract awards that he got for $29,000. I mean, a lot of folks think that you can't make money at the DLA. You can make money at the DLA. You just got to know how to do it. But if you have a question or a comment and you're not subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. Drop your comment into the chat there, and I'll be able to field it, because you got to be subscribed to the channel in order to interact with me in my chat. And it doesn't cost you anything. And hey, you may learn a little bit from me today. So feel free to hit that subscribe button. By all means, if you like any of my videos in my catalog, hit that like button. It stokes the audio rhythm and gets YouTube cooking and pushing the content to a broader audience. So I really appreciate the engagement and interactions that you guys give me. And by all means, share this content to friends and family members and other business people that you may know that could, turn a light bulb on in their mind and say, hey, there's an opportunity here, and let's learn a little bit about it. And by all means, hit that notification bell. Hit the notification bell so you'll never be a day late like I was today, or a dollar short as it relates to whenever I go live in these YouTube streets or post any relevant content on my channel that may empower and inspire you to get involved and to learn a little bit more about how you can position your company to be successful, as Brother James is with the Defense Logistics Agency and government contracting. So fantastic there. Okay, so what nobody says about entrepreneurship. Right. There's two different sides. I mean, everyone has their own opinions. These are coming from yours truly, a DLA Guru. And I've been doing this for quite some time. So it'll be in August, it'll be 16 years that I've been a 100% full-fledged entrepreneur with the staff and team and offices and customers and P&Ls and the whole nine. And I've been kind of in these streets. Now, of course, I've been an entrepreneur. I was born an entrepreneur. I've been selling, lemonade stands and selling candy and things like that. I remember my first job, first gig, I should say, that I had. I used to sell candy in school, in high school. This is my first job. And I grew up in the inner city of St. Louis. And so we had a penny candy store that I would go down to and purchase now and later, I think his name, but the now laters is what we called them back in the day. And they were basically 10 cents for a little pack of now laters. And I would flip it for 50 cents to people who had never heard of now laters. It was like crack, back in the in the late 80s and 90s as it related to candy. And so I was the candy man in high school for some time. And so, did things like that, just along my journey. So I've always understood buying something at a low price and reselling it for a higher price. That's always having some type of product to sell. So I was kind of born an entrepreneur, and I burned the candle at both ends of the stick. And while I worked in corporate America, I also had entrepreneur endeavors on the outside. And so again, age 34, I took the plunge and made it 100% my livelihood to spread the word, to grow my businesses and spread the word about entrepreneurism. And matter of fact, I was actually inspired by my father. He was an entrepreneur my entire life. So I grew up in a household where my dad was an entrepreneur. And so he kind of also taught, my sister and I a lot about, being 100% self-employed is the best way of kind of navigating the world, but you got to find your lane and find an opportunity, find a customer that can definitely help you thrive in being an entrepreneur, whatever that customer may be. And government contracting by far, and those of you in these YouTube streets, is one of the best vehicles here in the United States to get involved with. It's just a fantastic opportunity. So I've divided this presentation up into some pros and cons. Being an entrepreneur, right? What are some pros? The first top 4 pros that come to mind in being an entrepreneur, and a lot of you guys out there in the audience can probably relate to what I'm talking about. But there is, I remember when I left, corporate America, there was this sense of freedom that I began to experience because in corporate America, I just remember, always being held to a time, like you had to be at work at a certain time. I think at the time you had to be at work at 8 o'clock sharp, so 8 to 5, 8 to 5, 8 to 5 was a thing. And this is before the pandemic, of course. We're talking in like, in the, early 2000s, early to mid 2000s. And, I just remember, in rush hour traffic, trying to make sure I got to work on time because I just did not want anyone to see me enter into the office late, because it was like you get those looks and, people are, your managers are where you at. And, that's part of your performance review. I just remember that, I felt like I'd never really had freedom of my time, and so when I decided to become a full-fledged entrepreneur, that is one of the first things that I realized that, hey man, I can create my own schedule. If I don't want to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, I don't have to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. If I want to, have my schedule be to start at whatever time that fits within my life, is how I was able to design, my businesses around my life. So that freedom of schedule is one of the top pros that I think most entrepreneurs will experience, because I know I definitely experienced it. Hey, all right, I got some questions that are popping up in the chat. Thank you again for the engagement, guys. Throw me questions, because I'll be fielding questions and kind of talking about this at the same time. And we got Brother James. He says, also got a question. Can you visually walk through how to make a PAR to update a delivery? I was awarded another award this week, and the item is out of stock and won't be available until September 30th, 2024. Hey, Brother James, I do already have that type of information that is loaded into my post-award masterclass. That's kind of, so I do have my public forum type of content that I provide in YouTube University. And then I have more tailored, more detailed type of content that's provided in my masterclasses. So for those of you who invest in my pre-award, post-award masterclass, my JCP certification, my 360-degree masterclass, there is just a lot of content, the ins and outs of how to be successful with DLA contracting. And I also, for those of you who have really myopic focus and ideas or questions about your DLA journey, you can feel free to book a session with me. I like to do a lot of that because that's a good give and take of my experiences in these DLA streets in order to assist you guys. But hey, that's a great question. PARs, for those of you in the back, PARs are post-award requests, and there is a particular way. The wording has to be a certain type of way in order for it to, be contractual. And so, yeah, Brother James, I would definitely recommend you book a session with me so you and I can talk one-on-one. I'm telling you, man, it'll take you a long way in order to make sure you can get those PARs done, because if you do it the wrong way, the DLA could reject your PAR, and then you're just in a world of hurt. So you kind of got to know how to word those things. Let's see. Coming back, we got Melanie. Melanie Fulton in the building. Let me give you a round of applause, Melanie. The name does not ring a bell, so you may be new to my content here, Melanie. So that's fantastic. Not that I know everybody, because I have over 2,000 subscribers on the channel, but I'm pretty keen on when I see a name, it pops in my head there. But what happened to the woman you interviewed a while back who was awarded the condom contracts? Any updates on her status? The condom contracts. I do remember a young lady. Oh yeah, I do remember that. I haven't actually heard from her. I think that she, took one of the match classes and she's off to the races, you know. So I think that she probably is doing fairly well. I don't exactly remember her name or her email address or anything of that nature, Melanie, if you're trying to get in contact with her. But hey, whichever video that you're talking about, drop a comment in that video, and I may be able to like connect it in some way if you'd like to get in contact with her and find out, you know, a little bit more about her journey with the DLA. You know, again, what I'm doing, guys, here in these YouTube streets is curating a DLA vendor network where I want DLA vendors to be able to hobnob and communicate with each other. And actually, Melanie, the best place for you to connect with us would be on LinkedIn. So I have a DLA vendor network on LinkedIn. Matter of fact, I can probably throw that in the chat there if you want to join me over in the LinkedIn space. That may be a great place where you can interact with some other. Let me find my LinkedIn. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat right now. This is a good place. I think we only have like maybe 30 members. It's by invite only. So just let you know that you have to, you know, have a LinkedIn profile and have some, you know, credentials and things of that nature that we can take a look at in order to make sure you can add value to that vendor network that I'm creating over in LinkedIn. So feel free, Melanie, to click that link there. Let me take a look at what you're offering and see if we can invite you in. And you know, maybe you'll be able to hobnob with some DLA vendors firsthand here. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, so hey, FedCom. All right, hey, thanks, FedCon. I really appreciate the comment because he says the condom lady. I hate that you guys are calling the condom lady though, but she says he says the condom lady is doing great. We talk often, so fantastic. So there we go. You know, I imagine FedCon, you were able to meet this young lady, and you guys have been talking in the DLA vendor network that I've created. So fantastic, you. Thank you for that comment because that's exactly what we are talking about here. You know, within my community that I'm creating. Get involved, guys. Get involved because you know you just never know where it may take you. All right, another pro of being an entrepreneur: freedom of creativity. You know, I'll never forget it. You know, I was an engineer working in corporate America, and you guys can probably relate to this. And you know, as engineers, we are very creative people. You know, it's just like you think of ideas, inventions, and gadgets, and ways to fix and solve problems. And I do remember being, you know, kind of held back. I kind of felt like a caged tiger when I worked in corporate America because there were some ideas that I had and I had to get approvals. And if it didn't jive with the management team, you know, it was kind of like, you know, you just were, hey, you know, don't speak unless spoken to type of thing. Right. But as an entrepreneur, when you're a full entrepreneur, you have the freedom of creativity like none other. This YouTube channel that I've created is a perfect example of the ability for, you know, my creativity to be showcased on this stage. You know, from the AI counterparts, Parker Winslow and Sierra Monroe. You know, these were all ideas that came up in my mind, and then I was able to hold it in my hand and present it to you guys to add value to your journey here with the DLA. And it's just an awesome ability to have freedom of creativity to put together something and deliver a product or a service or an offering that can help inspire and help other people along their journeys. This is what being an entrepreneur is all about. I mean, it's a very strong pro. So if you guys are very creative and you're like always thinking of ideas, being an entrepreneur is going to be the best lane for you to have those ideas where no one can tell you no. It's all about what you want to do. You know, you live and breathe it. So that's a definite pro of being an entrepreneur: freedom of creativity. Another pro of being an entrepreneur, and of course, guys, don't worry, I got some cons. You know, I'm talking about the pros. I always like to talk about the positive things about, you know, my life, and then of course, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about some of those negatives, and hopefully, you guys can relate. If you can relate to what I'm talking about, you other, you know, DLA contractors out there, you other entrepreneurs, feel free to hit me some fire emojis in the chat, or just double down on some of the things that I'm saying here. Let me see. Melanie says the video has been removed or private. I can't see it anymore. Yeah, it may be part of my brigadier general. You have to be a brigadier general for a lot of those closed circuit trainings that are offered. So I have an extensive catalog for those of you guys who become members of my closed circuit community. There is pinned into my comments here at the very top of the comment thread here. You'll see a link for you to join me as a brigadier general, especially if you like to cam up and mic up today. Today is that day. And I do have the link that's in the chat there for you, Melanie. And not only will you be able to talk directly with me through a StreamYard today, or should I say bi-monthly, but you'll also see the archive videos from my other group session trainings that are available. And I think we have about 17 videos or so in the archive. Each video is like 2 hours long. It's a lot of content, a lot of nuggets and hacks on how you can be successful with the DLA. So that's probably what that video is, Melanie, if you can't find it any longer. Let's see here. All right, we got Brother James again. He says, hey, FedCon, welcome back, bro. I have not heard from you in a while. How are things going? Okay, fantastic. Yeah, so everyone's kind of talking in the community chat. This is what I love to see, that type of interaction. Fantastic, guys. So let me go ahead and get back into my presentation as you guys continue to cook in the chat. Yeah, so another pro that that really, you know, hits home for me is a heightened sense of pride, you know. And you know, I remember working in corporate America, and there was pride about the work that I did there. Of course, you know, it's like, wow, you know, you get a task and you're able to achieve it, and you know, you keep your job and things of that nature. So you do get a sense of pride. But I think when you're an entrepreneur and you're able to, you know, harness the freedom of schedule, the freedom of creativity, and when you are able to produce a product or service that, you know, people pay you for, and like you, like it's almost like you're building something, you're creating something from nothing. You know, there's an age-old adage that thoughts become things, right? So if you think it and you really believe it, and you concentrate on it and you focus on it, and you work and you become that busy bee, you know, and you're working on it, you know, every day, day in and day out, it becomes a part of who you are, and you're able to produce it and hold it in your hand. You have a heightened sense of pride of just achievement. It's like it's euphoric, you know. It's like no one can take it away from you. It's your baby, you created it. And you know, a lot of times when everyone leaves the office, you know, I'm here working late nights sometimes, you know, I'll literally just stand up in the middle of my office and just do like a 360-degree kind of like a panoramic turn in the office, and just awe at the creation of, you know, what I've been able to create with my team and over these years, and say, wow, we built this, you know. So it's just, you know, it's a sense of pride, you know. It gives direction, it gives purpose, being an entrepreneur, you know. So these are some of, you know, very high level top, you know, top 3 pros that come to mind. And you know, a fourth one would definitely be, and you know, I think in my journey in these past 16 years and beyond, that it's almost attuned to a way of life. You know, I don't think of my work as work. You know, I remember working in corporate America and looking at the clock and couldn't wait until 5 o'clock so I can, you know, get the hell out of there, right? You know, and it was, you know, not that I wasn't proud of the work that I was doing, but it wasn't really my life. You know, I knew that if I made a mistake or didn't do this or meet deadlines, hey man, you get a pink slip, man. They will get rid of you. You know, so it wasn't really a way of life for me. But as an entrepreneur, I don't I don't live by time frames. You know, like of course, you know, my live stream today was scheduled from, you know, 11 to 1 o'clock. That's a, you know, you live by time, but it's my way of life. I designed it. I said I wanted to do a 2-hour live stream, right? And so that's what, you know, being an entrepreneur is. It becomes an extension of you. You know, like your businesses, how you talk, how you think. You're always thinking about, hey, is this good for the company? Is this good for me? Is this good for my family? Is this good for my way of life? You know, entrepreneurship allows you to cultivate that in so many ways, you know. So for those of you who are on the fence and you're like, hey man, what is entrepreneur, what is that really all about? You know, these are again very high level thoughts that come to mind in my 16 years of being a full-fledged entrepreneur. But yeah, man, my way of life is pretty amazing in that I just don't feel like I work. You know, I feel like I'm just living. I'm just being. I'm being productive. I'm being that busy bee. I'm in this ecosystem, and it's just, until death do us part. And so that's what I think. And hopefully some of you guys in the chat, can you guys relate? Can anyone relate? Can I get a little love? If you can give me some fire emojis, if you can relate to some of the pros that I've put out here on this page here. Let's see, we got some more comments that have come in here. Let's see. We got FedCon says, Brother James, PAR is on your homepage. They may do a contract modification and unaware the contract since it's that far out. Okay, cool. So yeah, you guys are kind of helping each other in the chat there. That's cool. And then we got Brother James has responded. He says, thanks for the information at FedCon. I'll check it out. Fantastic. Yes, there. Let's see. Got a question that just popped in here. The Amazon hustled to 1 million. I love it, man. He says, how many bids do you tend to put out every day, week, month? Yeah, so now from a bidding perspective, the DLA is all about bid, and bid often. It's almost like the lottery. You got to play to win, right? And so bidding is definitely a function of winning. The more bids you put out there, the better off the chances of you having winning, because the DLA, sometimes they'll put a solicitation out there and then they'll cancel the solicitation. I mean, it's not always a 100% vehicle for contract awards. Now, I will say that the DLA awards over 10,000 contracts a day, and they have about 100,000 solicitations out there at any given moment, right? So out of 100,000 solicitations, they're awarding 10,000 contracts a day against that. So, you can kind of take, look at that ratio. But the hit ratio for most folks that are really serious and have a great product and great pricing and great relationships with your manufacturing base or your vendor base, you can more than likely see about a 20% hit. That is a conversion rate of about 20% or greater, depending on the type of product that you're offering, the type of services that you're offering, and things of that nature. But yeah, the rule of thumb, I think in the DLA space is probably about like a 20% hit ratio. And for those of you guys who may be service-based offers and with SAM.gov, I don't think you're going to find many companies that are able to bid on those RFPs and have a 20% hit ratio. The DLA, by far, I think, of all the federal contract agencies that are out there, has more opportunities for small businesses to get involved and get some awards. Now, of course, it's not the place where you're going to get rich overnight or anything like that. It's one of these things where you may get DLA awards contracts for $50. You may get a $50 contract and you might make a profit of $5 off the deal, or $10. And then you may get, like Brother James, I think last week he mentioned that he was bidding on a contract that was like $190,000 contract, and that his profit margin was like 28 grand, or roughly. Correct me if I'm wrong, as it relates to that, Brother James. But, it really all depends, the Amazon hustler there, on the type of products and the type of team that you have. And I highly recommend, if you're really interested in getting involved with learning more about the DLA, take a look at my 360-degree masterclass. You will find that in the description of this video. Feel free to register there. There's a bunch of free videos that come with your registration that give you an outline of what each masterclass is all about before you actually take the plunge to invest in those courses. But I think, for those of you who are in the building who have taken my masterclasses, feel free to drop it in the chat and let folks know that, hey, you've taken the masterclasses and it definitely helped you to get your awards. I mean, a lot of times, it's all about people's referrals and things of that. I mean, I could talk it till I'm blue in the face, but it really comes from the community at large there. All right, cool. So let me continue. And the chats are still popping. Great. I'm loving the engagement. Let me keep going into my presentation a little bit. So a lot of folks say, okay, great. I kind of get it. The pros of being an entrepreneur, keep in mind, guys, I'm not talking anything about money here. I think if you build it correctly, the money will come. I never think about being an entrepreneur to get rich. That's not it, guys. It's really about a way of life. is what entrepreneurism is about. And if you have a quality product and you're honest and you have ethics and you're about helping people and building a community and building a network and treating your employees or your teammates well, money will come. That's a byproduct of it. It's really about building the right types of systems as an entrepreneur. That's really where it's at. So if you notice there, I'm not talking anything about money at all. All right. So being an entrepreneur, the cons of being an entrepreneur. Yes, there are cons. Yes, there are cons, and a lot of folks are risk adverse. Most entrepreneurs are risk seekers. And being an entrepreneur, failures are part of the process. So you got to have the ability. You have to have that thick skin to be able to take adversity and take an L. Since the pandemic, our company took a lot of L's. A lot of the suppliers that we were working with pre-pandemic, were gone. Those companies changed their scope. They lost people who were key. I think I remember, some of my top sales managers, one top sales manager in particular, this gentleman actually passed away. We had been working together for 15 years and he ended up passing away, and he was my point of contact within this organization. And it was like starting all over again, because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So you kind of got to, build relationships over again. So, and I'm not going to blame everything on the pandemic. It's just something that's just, really relatable to most people because we all live through it as Americans. But, the failures of being an entrepreneur is something that's really going to temper your spirit, man. It's going to test you. I've had so many businesses from when I left corporate America, in addition to working with the DLA, because keep in mind, the DLA is not the end all be all. It's just one customer. You still have other customers that you have to service in order to grow your organization. So I've had countless businesses. And as in this particular series, I'll be talking a little bit more about some of my other companies that I do currently run, and talking about, some of the challenges that I've experienced with those businesses as well. But hey, failures are part of the journey of being an entrepreneur. A lot of folks are just afraid of it. They have the analysis paralysis and the fear of failure. And in order to be an entrepreneur, that's going to come with it. You can't be afraid of it. Just think of it as a stepping stone, to greater opportunities. So you do something, you make a mistake, you fail, you go, wow, don't give up. Say, okay, let me pull from that what God was, what was the lesson that I was supposed to learn from that failure, and then build upon it and keep going. Never cry over spilled milk. Just keep going, build that way of life. That's what that's all about. All right. Another con of being an entrepreneur. And for those of you in the back, if you can relate, let me know if you guys can relate. Drop me a fire emoji in the chat, or just double down on any of these comments any of these line items that I'm putting, or I should say the bullet points that I'm putting on the presentation here. Let me know if you can relate to what I'm talking about, because man, being an entrepreneur burnout is a thing. I'll never forget when I was working in corporate America and burning the midnight oil and doing DLA contracting. And you guys are probably seeing some other videos where I would get off work at 5, get home, grab dinner, shower, and all that good stuff, and get in my home office at the desk and begin bidding on DLA contracts till like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, sourcing vendors, doing my thing. And I did that religiously for like one entire year, and I'll never forget it. And at the end of that year, and we're talking about like in the early 2000s, I had made an extra $60,000 that year in profit in DLA contracts, just, working as a corporate engineer and doing that kind of thing and still doing DLA. And it was, great. But at the end of that 12 months, man, I had burnout because I was a solopreneur. It was just me. I didn't have a team. I did all the product sourcing. I worked with the vendors. I did the bidding. I managed the contracts. I did the packaging, labeling, making runs to UPS. I remember I would put packages from the night before that I had packaged in my trunk, drive to the plant, and pop the trunk at their loading dock where they had all their deliveries, and literally utilizing the loading dock at the company I was working with to drop off my packages, because it was more efficient, because I knew I could do it and it was accessible to employees. But I remember living that life for a full year. And at the end of the year, I just had I didn't want to look at a DLA solicitation. I didn't care how much money they paid me. I just had burnout, I just did too much. And that's when I recognized that I needed to scale my business and bring other people into the fold. And so being an entrepreneur, you can definitely have burnout because you're very passionate about what we're doing. You believe in it. And so you're just going to go. I mean, there'll be days where you don't even eat because you're so focused on your business plan and building that business, and it can lend you to burnout. Those are some kinds of entrepreneurism. So you kind of got to know how to do the work-life balance when it comes to being an entrepreneur as well, to make sure that you avoid burnout. Let's see here. We have let's see other comments that are here. Looks like here, bump bump. Well, hold on. I think I put the wrong comment. I think the first comment is here. He says, FedCon says, geez, unaward the contract since, okay, business is booming. God is faithful. Yes, God is faithful. Let me go ahead and give you a perfect on that and a round of applause, because I am so glad to see that, FedCon, that you're talking about God in this, because everything that we're doing as entrepreneurs is a spiritual journey, guys. This way of life, being an entrepreneur, it's not for the faint of heart, but if you have an understanding that as God feeds the birds and the bees and the lions and the tigers and the bears, oh my, he will definitely feed you as well. That's how we look at this. All we are is just we are vehicles of God's grace. All right. So it's great to see you say that, brother FedCon, in the building there. And I think these questions, I'm not exactly sure these are directed to me per se. Brother James says, will there be a dig on my SPARS record for the unaward? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure the nature of that question there. If you're saying that you need to cancel a contract. Yeah, if there is a contract that you get with the DLA and you have to go and actually cancel it, yes, the DLA will ding you, but it won't get to a point. I think if you get too many dings is where they kind of lock you out. But if you have good reason to request the cancellation of the contract, when you do your PAR, you have to make sure you put the wording in the right way, kind of put on a legal hat and use the right types of terminologies in order to, have the DLA understand exactly what's going on with you. Hey guys, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, the scrolling marquee, I'm talking about donations. Donations are definitely welcome. I love getting out here in these YouTube streets. And for those of you who have sent me a super chat or Cash App or a Venmo, just to thank me for all of the hard work that I'm putting in to both empower and inspire you for success with the DLA, I truly appreciate it. So there you see on that scrolling marquee, feel free to drop the DLA Guru a little something, something. Let me hold a little something. If you guys are feeling that the content is definitely opening your eyes up into something bigger and greater than yourself, something that will help you, your family, for years to come. So feel free to show a little love to the DLA Guru. In addition to your likes, looks like we have 9 concurrent viewers and 11 likes. Yes, yes, yes. I appreciate the love there. But hey, a dollar goes a long way, So I really appreciate any support that you guys have there, if you feel it in your heart. And let me go ahead and throw another comment up here. FedCon says, yes, it will be a ding. If you don't submit a PAR within 10 days of an award, it's up to them if they agree to modify the fulfillment date. All right, cool. So, hey, James, you're getting a little love in the chat there from brother FedCon. And so hopefully that definitely helps you with your questions with your PARs as well. For those of you who may be chiming in, feel free to drop a comment in the chat, because I'm filling those comments. And for any Brigadier General members that are out there in my Patreon family, you can check in the community chat that's dedicated to you on both Patreon and or YouTube here. Check in the community forum chat, and you will find the link to my StreamYard, where you can click the link and come on over here in StreamYard, because I'm getting close to the end of my presentation, and I will be ready to answer any and all questions related to the DLA. And for those of you who are not familiar with or are not connected to me as it relates to Brigadier General or Patreon, Patreon members are only for folks who have taken any one of my MasterClasses and have successfully graduated. You will then get an invitation to join me over in Patreon, where you will have a reduced monthly investment in order to cam up and mic up with me bi-monthly here in StreamYard. And for those of you who may just be taking some of the content and learning through YouTube University on my channel, as well as other folks in the DLA space, if you're interested in talking directly with yours truly, the DLA Guru, feel free to join at the Brigadier General level. And that's a monthly investment that you will have access to an archive library of deep dive DLA training videos that I've worked with other student clients, where you can learn a ton of knowledge in the here on YouTube, if you prefer that type of content. And of course, you will have access to me through StreamYard to talk bi-monthly. We cam up and mic up, talk anything and everything related to DLA. And it's a great way to network and meet other people in the community as well. All right, another con, and I got 4 cons, guys. I always like to have some balance here. Another con of being an entrepreneur is access to capital. I get a lot of student clients who reach out to me and say, hey, they've gotten these awards, and the company that they're working with is not allowing a full line of credit. What should I do? And things of that nature. And so that's always going to be a constant struggle, or should I say a mountain to climb, as it relates to being an entrepreneur. Having access to capital to grow bigger, to get bigger. You need to have investors. I always like looking at CNBC. Every morning I watch CNBC as we're in the office working. And it's amazing to see how the stock market works and all the money that's going in and out of the markets. And a lot of these big companies require investors in order to do what they do. We as small business owners require investors. There is no company that can basically survive and grow just off of their own P&Ls. You have to have outside investment, whether it be banks investing in your company, or you getting those, EIDL loans from the SBA when they were offering those, and the PPP loans and things of that nature. I mean, the federal government recognizes that we as small businesses, we must have investment. And if you have friends and family members, or you have mentors or folks that can take a look at, but you got to be able to present a prospectus. You have to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Got to make it make sense in order to, get folks to invest. But access to capital is one of the definite cons to being an entrepreneur, especially when you're first breaking out into the world of entrepreneur, into the free enterprise system. And it can sometimes be a daunting task in order for you to win friends and influence people to invest in your dreams, into your business, to help your organization grow. So that is definitely a con to being an entrepreneur. But what I'm trying to do with the DLA Vendor Network is have folks like you who are in the chat here, who are getting involved with the DLA, to say, hey, look, let's all get to know each other, because there may be opportunities for us to pool our resources together to support each other in our contracts. And, the currency of money, it's a flow. It's an ebb and flow, in and out. Money is not designed to just be held. Money has to be, it's a tool. It's a tool to help you achieve your goals. It's a tool for God's grace, in my opinion, right? Money. That's what currency is all about. So access to capital through the DLA Vendor Network, trying to create this community and have some heavy hitters come in there. We can all kind of talk shop and kind of grow this together, is my vision within this fiscal year 2024. Hey, the channel's growing. We're getting a lot more folks engaged in purchasing the MasterClass, or should I say investing in the MasterClass, which is a great thing. It's a great sign that folks are definitely getting some information, or the word is spreading about the power of the DLA. All right, cool. And another con, my final con that comes to mind is the isolation that a lot of entrepreneurs, or that I should say I have experienced in being an entrepreneur. I was talking, about, all of these different bullet points. But when I was really, thinking about my journey in these past 16 years of being a full-fledged entrepreneur, I always kind of felt like I was on an island by myself, because I have these thoughts in my head about how I can visualize, because thoughts become things. But it's almost like no one really understands you. No one understands what you're talking about. You kind of got to just get out there and do it. And so you sometimes feel very isolated, like you're on this, one of my favorite movies of all time was with Tom Hanks in the movie Castaway. you know. So sometimes being an entrepreneur, you're like, you know, on that island talking to Wilson, the volleyball, and you know, you're trying to figure it out and just survive. And you have to really look within and look to what the creator has bestowed upon you, like the thoughts that come to mind, the inspiration that comes to you comes from the creator. And so you have to be able to harness that and then look at what your skill set is and, you know, what your passions are, and make that something that you can hold in your hand. That's what I've been able to do. Even with this YouTube channel, guys, this YouTube channel is a perfect example of what, how thoughts can become things. And, you know, but again, you know, there are many nights where I'm sitting back editing videos. I remember when I first launched a YouTube channel, and I didn't know how to do edits. I had no idea how to do that. So I had to spend countless hours watching YouTube videos on how to edit and what was the best editing software. And I decided to purchase the DaVinci Studio. And you know, that software doesn't come with a manual. You have to figure that stuff out. So I'm literally isolated in my office at night, burning the midnight oil and learning how to do these videos. So everything you guys see on my channel, I actually do all of the editing. Well, actually, you know, some of the shorts, I actually am outsourcing some of that work on the shorts. But for the long form content, yours truly, the DLA Guru, I do all the editing. You know, so I'm not saying it's perfect and it's like Steven Spielberg level, but the isolation that comes with being an entrepreneur means that, hey, I can't do this and I can't do that. I have to focus on this. So I find myself a little isolated at times, and that can definitely be a con, you know, being an entrepreneur. But hey, this is what it is. Nothing in life is going to be perfect. You're going to have pros and you're going to have some cons that come together. But the idea, just like in accounting, assets plus liabilities equals what? Shareholders equity. So you have to balance it. That's the, you know, that's the equation for balancing your P&Ls. Assets plus liabilities equals shareholders equity. And I look at being an entrepreneur as the pros plus the cons equal tangible success, right? So being an entrepreneur, you're going to find success. And keep in mind, guys, I'm not talking about money here. I'm talking about the success just as you having something that you can say and be proud of, that I created this, I built this, I did this, you know, I built this team. We did it together. On my board here, I have a saying that, you know, when people, when the team come in, we do our staff meetings, it's written here. If I had my camera mobile, I could show you, but it says, quote of the day: teamwork divides the task and multiplies the success. I got that. Well, it's over here, but yeah, I got it on the board there. And it's really about, you know, finding tangible success through leveraging pros and cons and creating a way of life of being an entrepreneur, you know. And again, not everyone's designed to be an entrepreneur. Some people, you know, some people are just not born to be entrepreneurs, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But for those of you who have a burning desire that you just want a little bit more and you're tired of 9 to 5, entrepreneurship is definitely the way to go. And the DLA is a great customer to have as an entrepreneur. All right. So let's see what else we got in the chat. Let's see. We got a message on the board here from Nikki. Nikki says, where is the community chat? Hey, Nikki, the community chat, you should be able to find that on the homepage of my YouTube channel. And there should be a tab that says community. And when you click that tab, that's where all the you know, messages that I may send out to my member community. And it looks like you are a member. Thank you, Nikki. Let me go ahead and give you a round of applause. You are a member. Now, keep in mind, there are different levels of membership, Nikki. And so as a brigadier general, you'll have different access to different type of community chats. If you are enlisted or you are a private, I think it's private, enlisted, and commander, then you're going to have access to different types of community chats. But at the brigadier general level, that's when you get access to everything, as well as the link to today's live stream for you to cam up and mic up if you have direct questions and you want to cam up and mic up with me today, Nikki. Feel free to upgrade your membership, because I'm not exactly sure what level. I think you may be a commander level, Nikki. And so, that's, you get limited. You get only, I think, 3 videos of the deep dive videos that are there. But once you upgrade to Brigadier General, you'll get access to like those 17 additional videos, as well as being able to talk to me. So that's how you get there. Nikki, hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. We got Artemis. Brother Artemis says, can you talk about what methodology you follow to get business credit? Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's a great question. I appreciate that, Artemis. Um, the methodology that I typically follow to get business credit is, one, you want to have a list of credit references, whether it be, businesses that you've worked with in the past. Okay, let's just say you're new and you don't have any references whatsoever, because a lot of folks that are new to me, new to my content, are new to the DLA and new to entrepreneurship as well. And so, it is a little bit more difficult to get involved, but the first thing I recommend, Artemis, is for you to apply for a DUNS number. Not sure if you have a Dun and Bradstreet number at all. Back in the day, you needed to have a DUNS in order to be registered on SAM. Now you don't need it, but DUNS are still important because the business community cares about your Dun and Bradstreet rating, right? So you want to get a DUNS number. And the DUNS number basically is where a lot of credit companies will report your ability or your propensity to pay on time. All right. Or if you have any kind of legal action against you, if they have creditors, or, put your debt to collections and things like that, because you're not paying your vendors for, the products that you're purchasing from them. So that's what I would recommend first, to establish business credit, and then reach out to companies that have low-hanging fruit. I think Granger, and I talk about it in my master classes, as well as some of my other videos here in the YouTube University. But Granger is a great vendor for you guys to apply for a line of credit to, because I think, you may have to co-sign on that credit. You may have to guarantee the debt, but I think, typically they open up a line of credit for like $5,000, something like that. Buy a couple of things from Granger. They'll go ahead and report, they'll report that, your payment history to Dun and Bradstreet, and then you kind of begin to build a line of credit over time. So, you won't be able to get it done in 30 days. It's just not the way that this works. I definitely recommend you consider getting a business credit card. I think in some of my videos, I have a link where you can apply for a Chase business credit card. And if you're interested in learning more about that, Artemis, hit me with an email, and you see it right below my chin, fed.contracting@nmsupply.com. Shoot me an email and say, hey, I'd like to get that link to the suggested business line of credit with Chase, because it's a great one. I think the line of credit that we have with Chase is like a $50,000 line of credit. I think, they offer that to most business owners. And guess what, guys? The debt does not hit your personal credit score. As long as you have, your Dun and Bradstreet number, which you'll need for that line of credit, as well as a federal tax ID number and a business name, LLC, INC, or something like that. You can apply, and at least, I think that's the prerequisites for getting it. And of course, you have to have a pretty good credit score as well, because I think that they do ding your personal credit, to make sure that you pay your bills. But yeah, the Chase business, I think it's a Inc. I think it's Chase Inc. or something like that. But yeah, I definitely have a referral link that I can send to you, and let them know the DLA Guru sent you, and that might help you to get a line of credit as you build your business line of credit as well. Hopefully that answers your question there. Okay, cool. We got Miss Nikki Glenn with another question. She says, Kiwi, any advice on overcoming supplier issues? Supplier said couldn't quote me till I actually won the contract. That seems backwards. Yeah, that does seem pretty backwards. How are you going to win the contract without knowing the price? So that, a lot of times, Nikki, if you're finding resistance and trying to find a vendor to work with you, one, that might just not be a very good vendor to work with, because a lot of times, vendors catch wind that you're working with the DLA. They may begin to game you a bit, because you're probably not the only company that's reaching out to them, and they may have already a network of vendors that they want to work with. So they may, give you a really high price, with the hope that you bid it. And, the DLA, you know, a lot of times in federal contract, they say it's the average of 3. I think they have to have 3 bids that come in. I think the DLA can get away with 2. So if there are 2 bids that come in, you know, they can kind of, you know, kind of game the system where the award's going to go to the vendor with the lower price and availability, and the lower price and better availability. So be careful not to get into, you know, this getting gamed by companies that just basically are utilizing your bid in order for them to win the contract. That's some more advanced type of strategy, business development strategy that I teach in my master classes, as well as my, you know, my contracted one-on-ones with student clients that engage with me. So, hey, Nikki, if you're interested in really, you know, getting involved at that level, highly recommend that you take a look and take a plunge into investing in one of the master classes, because once you graduate from the master class, you're able to gain access to me. I think through my pre-award master class, I offer a 1-hour um, bonus one-on-one Zoom call with me once you graduate from the pre-award master class, where we can talk anything and everything related to business strategy, questions similar to what you're asking here, but you'll have the toolage of my business processes and my methodologies of how we go about working with the DLA as well, or winning with the DLA as far as contract awards. So recommend you take a look at that as well, Nikki. And I also offer bonus videos with the post award masterclass as well. I think that's a 30-minute post award masterclass that comes along with that. So well, recommend you getting involved, Nikki. Got to break a little bread with the DLA guru. You invest in me, and I'll definitely pay it back to you tenfold. You know, that's just my motto as it comes to that. And Nikki says, yep, she's a commander. Sorry, didn't realize. Yes, yes, you are a commander. And hey, thank you for being a commander. And, you know, and hopefully you've taken advantage of the 3 2-hour long videos that come with you being a commander, Nikki. But hey, there's a lot more at the brigadier general level. I think that investment is definitely going to benefit you tenfold as relates to being a part of that community. And it just shows a lot when it comes to that. All right. Hey, looks like I got a super chat that's came in. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. It just came over. Yeah, what? I'm clicking the wrong button here. Okay, cool. Yeah. Hey, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Go ahead. Yes, fantastic, Nikki. Thank you for supporting me, supporting my channel. Thank you. I really appreciate that. You pay it forward. You know, as most entrepreneurs know, you know, it just goes a long way. And hopefully you've been able to be empowered and inspired by me. Hey, I'll keep trucking. I'll keep doing what I'm doing. You guys still show up and engage with me. I want to thank you guys for watching today. Thank you for all of the eyes and ears on the content. The channel is steadily growing. I think I'm averaging about maybe 5 new subscribers every single day, which is great. It's like watching grass grow, but man, I have this vision. My new milestone is 5,000 subscribers. So you guys can definitely help by sharing my content, just sharing these videos to friends and family and telling people, hey, help this guy out. He's really trying to spread the word to our community and grow a fantastic network of companies that can benefit off of the money that's already being spent with other communities with the DLA. $50 billion collectively, guys. If we spread the knowledge and interact and talk with each other the way that we're doing, check this out. I'm just going to just pop this on the screen. This is another comment that's on the chat. And Brother James is talking to Brother FedCon. He says, hey, I just sent you a text message to your number ending in 7838. This is where folks are connecting. This is what this ecosystem is all about. Hey, and don't forget, guys, in the chat, I have a link to my LinkedIn. Click that link. It's free for you guys to request access to our LinkedIn DLA vendor community. In that community, we're going to have manufacturers, we're going to have vendors, we're going to have, you know, DLA vendors and all that kind of stuff in that ecosystem, you know, talking and connecting and networking. And LinkedIn is the best platform for that. So I highly recommend that you guys take a look at what I'm trying to build over there in LinkedIn community. It's not really active at this point. Just request to join it, because once I get a nice quorum of folks in that community, we're going to do some great things in the LinkedIn space. I think right now, again, I have about 30 members over there in LinkedIn, and then we're doing some things here or there. Everyone's kind of talking and interacting, but I'm not really breathing a lot of life into it yet, because I want to get a little bit of a larger audience over there before I can really help that to take off. But it's a great place to start. All right. And again, Nikki, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. I really appreciate that. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, you interested in learning a little bit more about, my master classes or what you guys are actually working on. Like today, I have a student client who booked a 4:00 session with me to talk about VSM. All right. So I'll be talking with the student client today at 4. I'm open. This lets you guys know, hey, I'm building where I fly it. I'm open to you on Saturdays, just extending my time to help grow your DLA business. And you'll have access to yours truly, DLA Guru. So I want to say thanks again for watching. Thanks. It looks like, no, I haven't gotten anyone coming over into my StreamYard as of yet, but I will hang out here in StreamYard for another 30 minutes or so. And so if you guys have some questions, feel free to hit the link that's in my chat for you to upgrade your membership to the Brigadier General level. And if you guys may be out there and you're part of my Patreon community, or you're interested in joining me on Patreon and you're taking a masterclass, you should have gotten an email from me inviting you over to Patreon. But if you haven't gotten that email, drop me an email at fed.contracting@nmsupply.com. Let me know you've graduated from masterclass and you're interested in taking advantage of the discounted monthly membership, for you to meet me over in the Patreon community, over here in StreamYard, and we'll get that done for you without any issue whatsoever. All right. So what we're going to be doing now is switching this over to our Brigadier General membership only. And let's see here. We're going to be doing that in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Thanks again for watching, and for tuning in to this exciting announcement. I'm Parker Winslow, signing out.